Yeah.
Are there any positions currently open that a person with community-based education degree could apply for?
Not that I know of. I think that we're always looking for the facilitators that teach those parenting groups and the children's groups. So there might be some of those positions available. They're part-time positions. But I think you probably would have to have a social work background versus like just a community-based education.
Is there a background necessary to work as SAN?
A background check?
Yes.
Yes, so you had mentioned that, and so this is the paperwork that we have everyone fill out.
Okay.
One of them is for the Department of Social Services, and the other one is, I believe, sex offender registry to see if you've ever, obviously committed a sexual offense, because you wouldn't want your working as can.
You got bad sex offender.
Yeah.
I know some places they do fingerprints. Do you also do that?
No, we don't. And I know some places do drug testing, and we do not currently, as I'm aware, do that.
Okay.
We do have a preschool that we operate, and so I know the qualifications and the employees there probably have a more extensive background check. I think they have to do like a TB test because they follow the guidelines for the Department of Social Services as relates to operating the child care center. But in general, this is the paperwork that you would fill out when employed by SCAN.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can keep those.
all right. What are the major professional characteristics, like writing, professional dress, like attire that you'd wear to ensure success for future employment here?
I would say, it just varies depending on the program. When you're at the preschool, it's much more casual because you're on your hands and knees playing, working with children, you're doing crafts, you're on the playground, you're on the floor, you're doing snacks. So it's not as professional in terms of the way that they dress. I would say the CAC, it's more professional because you're working with people who are involved in the investigation and prosecution of those cases, so lawyers, police officers, social workers, mental health providers, the hospital. So they'd hire us much more professional there. And the same for our CASA program where we work in the courts. Because we are in the Oliver Hill Courts building, I believe it's a very professional environment, so they dress very professionally. I think for our family support program here, when we're doing those parenting groups, it's not as formal because you're kind of interacting with the parents and the children again. It's a class, you're teaching them, so it's not, it just varies depending on who's teaching it and their personality. Certainly when I go out and I talk to donors and our board members, I dress very professionally versus when I'm in the office all day writing grants. So it just varies depending on kind of what's going on. Does that answer your question?
Oh yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
What is the average salary of an agency a staff member makes? I guess.
Yeah, so I would say it differs depending on if you're full-time or part-time. The average salary of a full-time employee is $46,121. The average salary of a part-time employee is $8,179.
And does that vary from, is it like a certain level that you can attain in the agency, or is it all kind of like one, your full-time and part-time, or your...
It just varies, and experience comes into play. Obviously, the longer you've been with the organization, the more you typically get paid, but also like we have our mental health providers, because of the nature of their work, they get paid more. I know that our clinical supervisor at the preschool has a doctorate degree, so she's obviously paid more and has many, many years of experience in the field, so she gets paid more. If our facilitators who teach our parenting groups have more experience, they get paid more. I think it just comes down to your qualifications and your experience.
Okay. And I guess some extra questions. How do the children get referred to you?
Yeah, it depends again with each program. So for the family support program, so the program that we operate out of this office, where we're providing intensive parenting education to those parents that are court ordered. So the parents are court ordered to come. So we get those referrals from the courts or Department of Social Services. And those children come by their parents, obviously, if those parents have custody of their children. Many times we find that they do not, and they're taking a parenting class to get custody of their children or to regain custody of their children. So they get referred that way. For the Child Advocacy Center, where we investigate those severe cases of physical and sexual abuse, those children are referred to us when their case is open. So when a child tells their story, often it might be at school or to a friend or a family member, and they call the police or they call Department of Social Services, and they then call our CAC. So those referrals come through like police and DSS. At the courts, where we operate the CASA program, so the Court Appointed Special Advocates program, where we work with children who are involved in those cases of abuse and neglect. It might be sexual abuse, physical abuse, neglect, whatever it might be. Those referrals are coming directly from the judge. The preschool that we operate, those referrals come from mental health providers, Department of Social Services, other daycares and child care centers. We get referrals from the THAM program, which is our prevention program. We work with many organizations in the Greater Richmond area who provide parenting services, so that comes in a lot of different ways. But I would say primarily the courts, law enforcement, Department of Social Services.
What annual events does the agency hold?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you that April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. So we do a lot of annual events in April. We do a prevent-a-thon in April, where we try to train as many people in the community on the Stewards of Children's Training, which is a national program to teach adults how to recognize and respond appropriately to child sexual abuse. It's a 3-hour training, so that's a big focus. Every year is in April. We just had last weekend our annual taste event. It's a fundraiser. It's a foodie event. It's at the Bull and Bear Club. Raised $60,000. Our biggest event is in April. It's called the Progressive Dinner. It's in Windsor Farms, and people come and they progress between courses from house to house to house. And that event has raised as much as $150,000 for SCAN. Our goal this year is to raise $125,000. We also do a Mardi Gras event in, February or March, depending on when Mardi Gras falls, and that's organized by our board of young professionals, and that raises between $20,000 and $30,000. And then we do a 5K every year, typically in April because of National Child Abuse Prevention Month, but this year it's going to be in May just because of the calendar and the way things fall. But it's obviously a race, and we do it at West Brown Village near Short Pond.
How do you sign up for that?
Online. Yep. So if you're interested, you can email me, and we'll certainly be sending out information. It's $20. It's our biggest. I wouldn't say it's our biggest event, I guess, but it's one of the most important events that we do because really anyone in the community can participate. Whereas you may not buy a $200 ticket to a black tie event, but really anyone can walk, run, push a stroller, come out and support SCAN. It's a very much of a community event, which we really love and try to increase our focus on.
I thought about doing 5K, but then I thought about running the whole thing. I say,
Yeah, well, we
not
say
gonna make it.
walk, run, crawl, whatever you want to do, just come out and support SCAN.
That's good. What is your age range for kids who come to you at all?
Yeah, I would say that the majority of the children that we serve are probably between 2 and 7. We do see quite a few teens. We did a teen group at the courts. We had a couple 14 and 15-year-old teen moms that we served there. We do see some clients at the CAC who've been victims of sexual abuse who are teenagers, but I would say the majority of them, are 2 to 7, 2 to 10, so younger.
I guess the last question is, who is their biggest contributor?
In terms of a donor? I would have to say the Community Foundation. The Community Foundation is an organization that brings together many donors or families that have Foundation, so a significant amount of money that they then get the Community Foundation to organize, and we submit a grant to them every year. We meet with them and talk to them and have any other community partnerships, things that we do with them, but we write a grant every year. And knock on wood, they have supported us at the $75,000 level for many years now. Yes, it's a great